so much, and I mean so much. I love to share with you this morning, and wow, it just seems like we don't have time as it is, but we will get it. We'll do our very best. All right, so look around, because at some point in time you're gonna hear stuff like this. Conversations like this. But let's start us off this morning with a very difficult conversation, one that I think we are not paying too much attention to right now. We are talking about curfew for minors. All right, curfew for minors. Who are minors? People who are dependent on their parents or adults for their well-being. They cannot, as it were, do much on their own. Well, apart from maybe eat, sleep, and make a lot of noise. But beyond that, they can't do much, right? Those are minors. So usually, under certain laws in certain countries, they are labeled under 18, right? Now, how many of you have noticed, right, that apart from the children that people have been complaining about, that when I say children, I'm talking about 4-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 8-year-olds that we see, on our streets at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 7 p.m., walking around and begging people for money, right? That there is also a group of minors, teenagers, right, that are unaccompanied as late as 10 or 11 p.m. Now, when I was growing up, right, as a teenager, right, this was our domain, talking about Elekaya Estate, right? Everybody's house was free until 6 p.m. So during holidays, we're expecting them to go on holidays very soon for Easter. Once it's 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning, when the parents have jumped out of their houses and they've gone to their various places of business or work, we, the children, we start to go from house to house. We're either playing football here, we're playing counterball here, playing cards here, playing sign here, or destroying something or trying to create something. Now, when we were bored with one person's house, and this is my story, by the way, when I would be bored at the Amadi's house, I'll stop and go to the next house, go to Chikama's house, for example, and gist with him, play, talk about football, talk about this, talk about cars, and then when we are done, we will leave, maybe ride our bicycles, go down to Secular Avenue, where first is Secular Avenue, right? I had a cousin who used to stay there. There are crackers back then. So we'll go there, play ball. We finished playing ball in my house, so don't forget, we've played ball in our house. All of this is happening, and I will be wondering, when do we sleep at all? During the holidays, we didn't have any time to sleep. We just wanted to play, and play. But 80% of us, if I'll be bold to say even 100% of us, would be in our homes by 6 or 6:30. You couldn't find a teenager, a child, unaccompanied in Elekaya Housing Estate back then when I was growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s, outside of their homes without their mom or their dad. So shocking and so alluring was my view and our view as children. We couldn't wait to get into university so we could be free. That the first night, right, I stayed outside my house beyond 8 p.m. without my mom or my dad in our presence, because we were either going to church or coming from church at that time. I was excited. But these days, ladies and gentlemen, I see 16-year-olds, I see 14-year-olds, I see 17-year-olds, right? Unaccompanied. Now, how do you know they're unaccompanied? Because they're usually, in places where they ought not to be, doing things they ought not to be doing. Imagine my shock a few weeks ago, right? My shock. Going out to have drinks and have a meal with my friends at one of those nice fancy restaurants in GRA, right? And then when I got down to take my ride, to book a ride back home, all right, towards the small corner, I could tell these children, they could not be more than 16 or 17. About 6 or 7 of them. And they were, yeah. And I looked at my clock, and I looked at my wristwatch, and I'm like, they shouldn't be out alone. They didn't look like between the 4 or 5 of them, they had up to 6,000 naira. But they were just gallivanting. No, they were not, dressed roughly or anything like that. But they were just not where they were meant to be at 9 o'clock at night. Where were they going to? Who are their parents? And so the question is, What do we need to do about curfews for our youth and the minor or the minors? Let me even extend it even further. See, should curfews for youths and minors become law? Because in some countries, ladies and gentlemen, if a minor is found at, quote unquote, ungodly hours, they won't arrest the child. They will detain the person for their own safety, assuming that child is going to be exposed to alcoholism, to sexual predation, to abuse, kidnap even. But here, something is seriously wrong.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
Hello, Port Harcourt, with Jude on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
017-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. At Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH is where you'll find us on Facebook and on X. At Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH. Then do please send us a message to the WhatsApp number 0809 030 6416, 0809 030 6416. Should curfews become law in Nigeria to protect the minors? Should we have a law that says that if a child, or a group of children are found outside of their homes, say 9, 10, and a security personnel or an officer sees them and thinks that they could be in danger, or looks at the situation and says, no, this is not right for, children like this to be outside unsupervised. Once again, the emphasis here is unsupervised. Should they be, detained? Should their parents be looked out for? Ask them, where's your child, your 14-year-old son or daughter? Why isn't at home at 10 p.m.? Why aren't they observing curfews that Jude and his friends grew up knowing? 6 o'clock, you couldn't be caught dead. And I mean it, you couldn't be caught dead outside 6:30 in the housing estate back then. If you were not old enough, or if you're not working with your parents, you couldn't be caught dead. This one here says, Jude, good morning. I think we have a problem. Most people are worried about what to eat, where to sleep, paying rent. Most people are not even paying attention to where their children are going to or who their children are hanging out with. That is the problem. I'm not sure it is the issue of the government. If yes, the economy is better, maybe parents would, like you said in your time. But today, or more, everybody they find their belly. Michael in Port Harcourt is saying. So everybody, they find their belly. That's why some parents don't know where their sons or daughters are at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. And once again, these are not young adults. These are not 20 years. These are not people who are in university, right? We're talking about teenagers, minors, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now, there is a case to be had or heard for people who are, like say, in the university. I know there's some 16-year-olds who are in university, right? So, yeah, if they're in university campus at that time, well, fair is fair. Your parents felt you were old enough or mature enough to be in that space. But let's say you are not. Let's say you are in secondary school. Let's say you are in secondary school. At 16, 15, what are you doing outside your house at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m.? What were you doing? And whatever it is you were doing, what were you doing it at that time of the day? When we come back, I get to read more messages that I've dropped here on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Good morning. 9:28 a.m. Greetings to you. Now, if you just joined us, we are talking about curfews this morning. And my question is this: should curfews for youth or minors become law in Nigeria? Right now, it's not a law. From all I have researched last night into this morning, I couldn't find. So if you're listening to me and you're a legal practitioner, right, and you know of any statute, any law, or any act that says that children should not be, or young people should not be outside at some or some time in this country, please do let me know. However, under the Child Rights Act, right, the child is, guaranteed certain freedom, certain liberties, certain rights. And one of them, obviously, is the right to be free, to have education, and to be a child. So no abuse, no repression, no suppression. Now, what we are talking about is not suppressing the child, but having age-appropriate time frame for them to act. Now, it would interest you that in some countries, right, there are laws, there are extant laws to make sure that a child or a minor isn't unduly taken advantage of at some point during the day. So, for example, in some parts of Australia and also in the EU, Germany, I think Germany was the first country who had that law about 2005. Let me check the article. As always, I have articles for every conversation that I dealt. The law states that if a child, a minor under 18, right, is found outside in a place they ought not to be, particularly where they are very likely to be exposed to adult material such as alcohol, drugs, sexual content, right? And dangerous activities such as racing, bike riding, or any sports that could be harmful without adult supervision. The law enforcer, that would be the police, that would be the sheriff, that would be the council, mall cop, whatever, right, has the right to detain, not arrest, to detain that individual or individuals until such a time that their parents would be alerted and would be asked to come and claim their child or their ward. It's a law. So they're not crimes. They're not seen as crimes, but they're seen as correction, protection. So the question is, at what age? Some argue 16 is fair. Others say no. But whatever the case is, the age is not what we are really worried about, right? We're talking about the range. Let me say that again. The age is not really what we are concerned. It's the range. So if we have teenagers, so 12, 13, all the way to, I'd say, in the case of Nigeria, 17. If we have these groups, they're young, they're curious, they want to find out things, they want to hang out with each other, they want to learn, they want to play, they want to drink, whatever it is. If they're going out and we see them at odd hours, should there be a law to say, oh, Jude, you can call the police to say, there's some children who are here, they shouldn't be here? Flashback, New Year's Eve and New Year Day, the celebrations, right? The videos I saw of children, teenagers, unaccompanied, releasing fireworks, dangerous activity. When I was younger, like I said, in the estate, you couldn't be caught dead. And I mean, you could. There are stories of parents who would go from house to house. Back then, if their son and their daughter was not back home at 6:30, most homes did not have telephones. So you see the mother going from one neighbor, my pikin there, you see her, no, in commodity say they go that place. She goes to that. Sometimes she's gone to like 3 or 4 streets. And as she's going, the temperature is rising, if you know what I mean. It doesn't vex. Sometimes, if you have the kind of mother that, likes Dr. Do Good, she's walking around with a cane. Everybody on the street knows, this woman, they find her picking. When she finds her son or daughter, the greeting first is like some strokes of the cane. What are you doing outside at 6:30, 7 o'clock, 7:30? But these days, it seems as though it's I don't want to say the upper middle class or the well-to-do people who seemingly have some measure of control of their kids. You see them at the cinemas, at the malls. Yes, teenagers, they're there, but there's an adult somewhere watching them. And if you've been to these places, you also notice that in some of these places, you also have children who are there unaccompanied. You can tell. You can tell. How do you know? Usually when children are unaccompanied, they are a bit more vigorous, more daring, more loud. But when the kids, when girls and boys are together, teenagers, SS2, SS3, whatever, they are playing and they're gisting, and they know that one auntie is there or one auntie is downstairs, right? They seem to be able to, they're always looking over their shoulder, because they know somebody's watching them. But the ones who are not carefree, careless, couldn't be bothered. And these are the children that could be more often than not exposed, like I said, to alcoholism. People are drinking and smoking at bars at that time. I don't know why a 16 or 17-year-old should be near a bar or a liquor store at that point in time. Adult material. They're exposed to it because nobody's going to stop anybody from dressing a certain type of way. So they see, they want to copy it, they want to be approached. So once again, should there be a law? Should curfews become law for youths or minors in Nigeria?
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
With Jude on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
017-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. At Nigeria Info, PH at Nigeria Info. PH is where you'll find us on Facebook and on X at Nigeria Info PH and at Nigeria Info PH. I beg your pardon, at Nigeria Info PH. Now, WhatsApp is 0809 030 6416, 0809 030 6416, 0809 030 6416 is where you find us on WhatsApp. All right, I have the tab here so I can read your messages via WhatsApp or SMS. All right, at Nigeria Info PH once again is for Facebook and X. Then WhatsApp is 0809 030 6416. All right, message here says, good morning, Nigeria Info. Well, unfortunately, most parents don't have the time to be policing their children, and you want to give laws so that the police will abuse the children. I don't think any laws should be made. IK in Port Harcourt. 9.3, good morning. Hello, Port Harcourt.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, please.
My name is Diana.
Welcome, Diana.
I'm calling you from Okoko.
Welcome, please.
Okay, you see, I think the problem we are having this time around is poor parenting. Because there's a proverb that says, "Okone they go past away planter." But nowadays, a lot of parents have failed in their responsibility. You see a child challenging the mother, challenging the father. So they don't even have say in the life of their children. So why?
Oh, Diana, apologies. You were undone there by the service provider. I don't think it's from my end. But do call back if you can, please. Well, a message here from Comrade God's Time, Ogu from Ugbo Isiokbo says, firstly, I think this conversation is very important. And what is very important is the upbringing of the individual. Because this conversation requires truth, which lies in the ability of the parents and the caregivers in raising them up. And lastly, I would say, yes, there should be a law. Thank you very much, Jude. Have a wonderful Thursday. It says, yes, there should be a law that enforces curfew for youth and minors. But wouldn't that law, like somebody said, I think that was Ike. Ike says he doesn't want a law because the police would abuse it. People would start, and let's be fair, Nigeria doesn't have a very good history with, police responsibility, right? A lot of people have been very critical of how the police in the past and present, has to be said, in the past and present, have conducted themselves, in the day-to-day lives of Nigerians. It's got me so bad, that people are. There was a time, I remember the time in this city when I was in Uniport. There's a time when people were just afraid. Us young people were just afraid to leave our houses, leave campus because because you wear baggy jeans, the police could stop you, stereotype you, and then boom, hey, let's beat you up for just being here. So that's a problem. 913, good morning. Hello, Port Harcourt.
Mr. Jude, good morning to you.
Good morning, please.
My name is Mr. Zion. I'm calling you from Port Harcourt.
Welcome, please.
Thank God and thank you for bringing up this discourse this morning. The annal of history will remember both of us, of our struggles and agitations, for not just a better society, but for an environment where children can grow up and say, Daddy, you are welcome. Not Papa, take your time. Mr. Jude, we don't need any law of such nature. We only need to tell ourselves the truth. Pathological liars everywhere. These children, you want us to put laws for them. Were they not born by a father, a mother? The question is, where is your father? Where is your mother? We now endorse a criminal arrangement we call boyfriend and girlfriend. You see this evil. If you want to save your children, I'm happy you are married. God bless you, and I celebrate you. Welcome to our fold as a married man. And I'm happy you are now experiencing some things we are experiencing now. It's very sweet, marriage is very sweet. Nobody should deceive you. Nobody should lie to you. The best asset God gave to us as humankind, not animals, humankind, is marriage. Sir, if these children want to put laws upon, have a father and a mother in their life, we should have nothing to be discussing about putting a law or a curfew to restrict them not to go out on certain times, or not to do certain things on certain times, or even to cage them. Mr. Jude, boyfriend-girlfriend relationship have produced a lot of children. Even the Bible calls them bastard. But because we are benefiting or we are a victim to that, don't mention it, There is nothing, don't mention that word, If that child have a father and a mother, rules and regulation, if they are under the radar, that is the right word now, of both parents, I don't think we should be discussing about putting a curfew on them. I've shared it here with you one time ago. How we are in a particular club that we believe at that time is ungodly, underlined. Underlined. This teenage came there. 2 boys, 2 girls. And I felt so uncomfortable. I approached them. Guys, don't you think it's too... You guys shouldn't be here by this time. What did they respond to me? Chairman, don't take it too personal. We are here by our own. Sir, even the people that were with me before I posed this case, they were perplexed to hear that. Mr. Jude, there was a time a word called Do you know this thing that we normally use to boost our stabilizer?
Okay.
Stabilizer. You
Okay,
remember that era?
electronic device. Yes.
Yes. Before you
Voltage
buy any
regulator.
device in river stage, budget to also buy stabilizer. You remember that era? What happened? Because there were low voltage everywhere. So you have to buy something. You have candle, call them a low current. Some of the bulb is showing so tiny, like as if it's candle. So you have to budget for stabilizer. I want to ask you, sir, when last did you see stabilizer? A technology came that boosts the energy of our appliances to able to conduct such low voltage, so we don't need stabilizer. Was there any law that said that nobody use stabilizer again in River State?
Okay, so now, Zai, let me ask you, right? I want to focus your thoughts like a razor blade very quickly for the next 1 minute and 30 seconds. Now, in Germany and some European countries, right, there were laws not to punish the children, not to put them in prison, but if they were found, the law says if a policeman sees a child under 17, obviously without any form of identification, they should hold the child and then call the parents. Until that child's parents are there, the child should not be around bars, hotels, liquor stores, nightclub, anywhere where you have adult content. The child there. As we are seeing children, and I'm sure you have seen children, like I did 3 weeks ago or so, seeing children 16, 17, near bars in GRA, near, market. I don't know, there's no market at 10 p.m. Yet you see some boys and girls, they'll be holding their hands and be gisting on the road that nobody knows where they're going to. So, would you not want a scenario where those children are not exposed to kidnapping, armed robbery, or even rape?
Those children you are talking about, most of them are syndicate to the kidnappers. They are informants. Some of them are even the kidnappers itself. We don't need that law in Nigeria. If you want to just oppose the one with the UK and other parts you are talking about, sir, if we are educated enough as a people, politically enlightened, we would have voted people who can defend reality, who can defend the culture and value of the Africans into power. Underline that word. Sir, today, Europe is suffering when it comes to taming their teens. Sometimes in Amsterdam, I'll take that as an example. Oh, do you see what the youths were doing there? They can kiss or even go half naked, half nude. Some 15, 20 years back, if Nigeria had educated people in governance, they would have seen, oh, this is a problem in Amsterdam. Let us work out to defend so that this thing don't trickle down to us. Sir, you cannot put any law here in Nigeria to that. It is because you don't like that daughter I am not taking care of. Are you aware most of these teenagers are the ones paying house rent for their parents?
Okay, fine. Wait. That's another problem. Yes, the issue of children, being what do you call them, caregivers to parents who are still alive is a problem. But shouldn't they be protected? Because like the study shows, right? And I always have research in front of me. The study actually shows that wherever you have children, minors, youths under 17 in adult themed places, there's always bound to be abuse of some sort, whether by coercion or by compulsion.
Is it your conscience, you, Mr. Jude, your own conscience that told you it is wrong, or it is their conscience that told them it is wrong, or it is the society that is telling you that it is wrong for them to be there?
A teenager would think and would always believe that, oh, I don't grow small baby, one or two don't dare my chin.
Exactly.
I can do anything I want, but the adult knows that you cannot handle the consequence of these actions.
Mr. Jude, celebrate your conscience that can separate between adults and teens. Most of our age grades today, they love that thing. They are patronizing it. If they are not patronizing it, their age grades are patronizing it. Jude, see, I don't used to club. I'm a very decent, innocent, loving father, brother, uncle you can mention. But because of I have so much interest to liberate the youth, and by the permission of those around me, my family, I said, let me be going out. And they gave me the permission. For the past years, I've been going to clubs, engaging young people, go to their programs. If they don't invite me, I have seen and heard a lot. My brother, what these children know, if they expose it to you, you will run. Oh. If they tell you their experiences in life, even you are not experiencing.
Which is why the psychologists are saying they shouldn't be exposed to those type of scenarios. Once again,
can you stop them in this African environment where there's poverty and illiteracy?
So once again, before I let you go now, we've been talking for about 8 minutes. Let me circle back. Once again, I said when I was younger, all of us in the Lekaya, from all I remember, we could not be found dead outside. Say they beat you, you faint. You cannot faint outside though. You come into your house and faint by 6 o'clock, 6:30. So if we could do that then, what do we need to get parents to do that now?
Jude, let the government present focus on the 5 basic amenities. That is only where we can get it right. No amount of law can correct it. Most of these politicians you saw or you thought could put such a law are even benefiting from these ones. And they call them what? Pino. They call them smoking charger. They call them massager. They call them... And my brother, what these things are doing, make them not invade your privacy. If not, you will come back home morning that you feel so refreshed. Even you'll be feeling like a giant, what they will do to you.
Okay. All right, Zion. Thank you. Because once again, I don't think any teenager should be doing any kind of thing like that to any adult. WhatsApp now 0809-030-6416. 0809-030-6416. Good morning, presenter. Curfew against children loitering will serve no use to Nigerians. It will only create yet another money-making venture for the police in particular. Countries who regulate their children's movement are countries with value for children. Unlike Nigeria, most corrupt children are fans of politicians. They are their children. Without waiting for the government, parents should either tame their children or sell them to the outside world. The choice is ours as parents. Joseph from Degama, why would you say sell your children? That's just in case you know, NAPTIP is very active against such a practice. But I don't know whether you meant that literally or figuratively right now. But it's worrying. It is worrying. 90.3, good morning. Hello, Port Harcourt.
Yeah, great Omamegbe. Brobo is calling from Elefranwa.
Welcome, please.
Your topic is interesting. You see, sometimes these children have grown wings, both in the universities and in the streets, more than their parents. There are some cases and some of these children that they are beyond their parents' care. The responsibility should not be laid only on the parents. The government needs to intervene. When Amici came here and saw how rough cyclists are walking in Port Harcourt, government gave order that cyclists should not be running inside the town till today. The rate of death of cyclist boys gets reduced. I don't know if I'm right.
Okay.
And he saw these things in Ghana. When he was in ministry work at Ghana, because I stayed in Ghana for some time, no cyclists at Ghana, unless Power Bank. So the roughness of these children in the city here, okay, government need to do something. If not, our future will not yield fine. So some people saying there should be no law of that nature. If the law of this nature should be enacted, a child from maybe 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14 years should not be fined by 10 o'clock in the night. The rate of this immorality will reduce very, very well. So let me just reserve my word.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you very much. So he supports that maybe the government should step in to help the people. Good morning, Jude. Growing up, you dare not stay outside up until 6:30. That's affected my life even as an adult. I have an alarm on my phone that alerts me the moment it is 8 p.m. I have nothing doing outside unless for business purposes. But you should not make such laws, because the kind of policemen we have in this country can apprehend somebody even as early as 5 p.m. Hold down the person until the coffee time so that they can extort money from the family. You know how it is now. Free, bail is free on media until you see yourself in police station. Ronald Onyekachi. Ronald has a good point. In the Nigerian space, do that. You're opening the door for corrupt police officers to have their way on unsuspecting individuals. They're already doing it now. Have you not heard when they say they arrest somebody for wandering, loitering? Oh yeah, bail yourself. If the person has done something wrong, why don't you correct the person? Why are you not asking the person for money? It's a big problem. Good morning, Jude. I think the laws should not come into being. Those kind of laws would always be abused. However, parents should be encouraged to be more proactive in monitoring their children. Also, businesses should be discouraged from entertaining young people under a certain age. I agree with this. I remember I shared a story with you when we used to go out to play video games, right? If the owners of those businesses had a conscience, they will not be collecting money from SS1, SS2 boys in uniform to play game. They knew them. They should have sent them away.